What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wolfcryer here, back with another feedback video for Diablo 4, in hopes that the D4 developers will hear what I have to say. But regardless, I wanted to let you guys know how I feel about Paragon in Diablo 4, because I think that the implementation of Paragon is a horrible idea, at least right from the get-go with the development of Diablo 4. I think it's a bad idea in Diablo 3, and I think it's a bad idea to bring into the future of this franchise with the release of Diablo 4. And this is going to pertain with what I think that the Diablo 4 developers can really take and learn from their biggest competitor, which is Grinding Gear Games' Path of Exile action role-playing game. Now, for me personally, my problem with Paragon and Diablo 3 has nothing to do with the power creep that a lot of people complain about when it comes to that system in Diablo 3, because I think power creep is going to come from somewhere no matter what when it comes to action role-playing games. You are either going to get some type of power creep from a system such as Paragon, or you are going to get that power creep from items or skills and that sort of thing, because the more time invested in the game should actually result in better rewards. It's the way things work in action role-playing games. If you don't like that system, perhaps the ARPG genre is not actually right for you, because no matter how you slice it, somebody's going to get a bigger advantage just by playing more. But my problem with Paragon personally is that it could be used as a crutch. And I fear that that could happen with the development of Diablo 4. Now, like I've said in previous videos, I've talked to some of the developers for D4, and they really seem to have their heart and soul into it, and this is a passion project for them. So I'm not saying that that will happen, but I think that just having Paragon as a backup tends to cause a problem, tends to become an issue with the ongoing development of Diablo 4. And it all comes down to why Paragon was implemented in Diablo 3 in the first place. Now, for those of you who don't know what Paragon is, maybe you've never played Diablo 3 at all, or you quit Diablo 3 before Paragon was implemented, Paragon is a way to level beyond your level cap, offering up additional rewards as far as stats go for your character, for your classes. The reason why it was implemented in Diablo 3 comes down to one word: replayability. And I think that Paragon as a system for replayability is a flawed system, because it's not actually giving you any content whatsoever. And that is the one thing that Diablo 4 and its developers can really learn from Path of Exile. In Path of Exile, the level cap is set at 100. There's no leveling beyond that 100 mark, and it's really hard to get to for the most part. And not a lot of players get to that 100 mark, especially during a league. Pretty much just the try-hard players of Path of Exile reach that mark during a league, which is similar to a season in Diablo 3. But you can complete all content by like 85, 90, in that general range. You are able to build yourself up in order to complete most, if not all, of the content in the game. So what is it that's keeping people playing Path of Exile, where a system such as Paragon did not need to be implemented? And it does not have anything to do with Path of Exile's big, giant, sprawling passive tree, or their gem links and skill sets, or anything like that. It boils down to the number one reason why Paragon was implemented into Diablo 3, and that is content. Paragon for Diablo 3 was a fake way to introduce content that wasn't really there. Diablo 3 has a very limited set of content for the game for the most part. You've got the campaign, you've got Nephilim rifts, which lead to keys, which allow you to do greater rifts, which is a endless grindable end game. And then you've got challenge rifts, which were recently added when the necromancer was brought into the game, and bounties. And that is pretty much it when it comes to Diablo 3. Now, the campaign in Diablo 3 is a pretty epic story, and you're able to play through that, but if you play through it more than once or twice, it gets rather boring because you've already done so. Grinding out those greater rifts, you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over and over again. There's not a big diversity when it comes to the endgame content for Diablo 3, where Path of Exile, on the other hand, between build diversity alone in Path of Exile and the content that you are able to complete within a league, for instance, in Path of Exile, there is so much to do when it comes to Path of Exile's endgame. You've got the entire Atlas system, which is their main endgame component. You've got several endgame bosses which can be attempted or defeated. You've got delve encounters, alva incursions. You've got the new metamorph that just released. You've got several endgame systems that were added throughout the last few years when it comes to their league mechanics that were brought into the core game. And there's not that fake sense of content because there's actual real content that people can play. And it gives people reasons to play the game. I play Path of Exile for different reasons than, let's say, my brother plays Path of Exile. I play Path of Exile for different reasons than some of my friends play Path of Exile. And we've all got different things to do. There's so many different endgame components of Path of Exile that it keeps everybody busy for the most part. I love Diablo 3 and I play every single opening season, but I tend to fall off faster and faster the more time goes on, mainly because all of the systems in Diablo 3 I have played for the last few years. That's not something that's going to change. I like the new systems in Diablo 3 when it comes to the seasonal buffs and the seasonal changes that are coming about, and that is a really good, solid step in the right direction for Diablo 3. Now, whether or not that's too little too late is up for debate, I'd say, but it does bring me back every start of the season. But it's the content for Diablo 3 that makes me fall off and stop playing earlier and earlier every single season. Path of Exile comes out with their league, and I jump into it to see what's going on over there, and then I get hooked into Path of Exile for quite a bit longer than I'm playing Diablo 3 nowadays. Like I said, I love Diablo 3. I've been playing it since launch, but I've also been playing Path of Exile for the past 4 or 5 years as well, and I enjoy both games. But Path of Exile has more content, more reasons to keep me playing. And I think the Paragon system in Diablo 3 is fake when it comes to content or giving people a reason to play. Yes, it will allow you to do higher and higher greater rifts, but it's the same exact content. Whether you are just a fresh level 70 or Paragon 2000, none of the content has changed. Where in Path of Exile, there's so much to do, so many different aspects of the game, so much build diversity. There's hundreds of builds that you can play that can do all of the content in the game. And still, if you're a casual player, you are not going to do all of the content in the game in a league. You can try to, but unless you are somebody who is playing on a regular basis, you are probably not going to complete all of your goals in a league. In a season in Diablo 3, I can complete most of my goals for that season within the first 2 weeks. And I think that having Paragon thrown into Diablo 4 right off the get-go is a horrible idea because it gives the developers a reason for people to keep playing the game. So why add more content if you've already given them the reason to play the game, even if it is fake? I think that instead of worrying about implementing Paragon, worry about the content of the game, worry about build diversity, worry about endgame systems, multiple endgame systems, a different reason for different people to play the game. Because I think leveling beyond level cap is not a real necessity. if there's enough to do in the game itself. If there's a reason for people to keep playing, they will keep playing whether or not you implement Paragon at all, because I don't think it is a system that needs to be in Diablo 4, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's a fake system in Diablo 3, and all it is doing is progressing people further and further as far as that greater rift number goes. The greater rifts are all still the same for the most part. I mean, yeah, they're random, but let's face it, it's the same content over and over again. Like I said, I love Diablo 3. I think it's a great game even to this day. I think that if somebody out there has not played Diablo 3, they should definitely check it out because it is a great game overall. But I think that Paragon in Diablo 3 was put into place because there was not enough content in the game to keep people playing. Where Path of Exile doesn't really have to worry about that. Once I reach 95 as far as level goes in Path of Exile, I'm pretty much good. But I'll still keep playing the game because there are systems in the game that keep me wanting to play the game. And I think that is the big problem with Paragon, ladies and gentlemen. And it is something that should be thought about before bringing it into the future of the Diablo franchise. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and letting me get that off my chest. I always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and definitely fill up that comment section down below with all of your thoughts regarding Paragon in Diablo 4. Should it be there? Should it not be there? Do you agree or disagree with what I've said in this video? All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you all, and you all have a fantastic day. Peace.